We're back. Item G is a public hearing and second reading of ordinances. Item G1 is an ordinance amending the Roanoke County Code by one, amending Chapter 13, Section 13-4, amending Chapter 21, Section 21-21, and 3, adding Chapter 21, Article 5. Peter Lubeck, our county attorney.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. There is only one change to this matter since our last reading that pertains to the adoption of the cigarette tax by adding a new Article 10 to Chapter 21 of the County Code. Since our last meeting on April 27th, I was advised by Mr. Elliott, the county's budget manager, that the projected tax revenue of approximately $250,000 is from the time period of January 1st of 2022 to January 30th of 2022 instead of January 1st to July 31st of 2022 as originally stated in the board report. I'd also like to share just some very brief additional information regarding for background information regarding the recommendation to amend the Roanoke County Code. As noted on April 27th, in their 2020 general session, the General Assembly extended the authority to levy a cigarette tax to counties. This became effective on July 1st of 2020. However, the authority of cities and towns to impose a cigarette tax has been longstanding. Our neighboring municipalities for many years have been imposing such a tax. The newly amended Section 58.13830 of the Code of Virginia now authorizes all localities to impose a tax up to, but not exceeding, 2 cents per cigarette. However, cities and towns that had already imposed a tax at a higher amount that exceeded 2 cents per cigarette may maintain their present tax rate that was effective on January 1st of 2020. And again, it is proposed that the county impose a tax of 1 25/100ths of a cent per cigarette. This is less than the allowed 2 cents per cigarette. This is in line with what the town of Vinton has been doing. Since 2009, the town of Vinton has been imposing this tax, which equates to 25 cents per package of cigarettes. Additionally, the city of Roanoke since 2008 has been imposing a tax of 2 70/100ths of a cent per cigarette, which equates to 54 cents per package. The city of Salem, since 2013, has been imposing a tax of 2 25/100ths of a cent per cigarette, which equates to 45 cents per package. At this time, I'd be happy to answer questions regarding any of the proposed amendments to the Roanoke County Code at this time.
Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
We're going to try things a little differently today. So I'm going to open the public hearing. The time is now 3:56, and I'm going to open the public hearing on this matter. Citizens who are attending in person may share comments in person. Citizens who are viewing remotely remotely may share comments either by emailing djax@roanokecountyva.gov or by phone by calling 540-776-7278. Citizens who are submitting comments by email or by phone may do so during the next 10 minutes. When sharing comments both in person and remotely, please begin by stating your name and address. We will hear in-person comments, if any. After receiving all in-person comments, if 10 minutes have not passed, we will recess until 4:06, at which time comments submitted by email and phone will be read aloud, subject to reasonable time limitations. So we will begin with the first one that I have signed up, and this is Jim Towns?
I think he has to leave because he's from Lynchburg.
Okay. And I'm going to apologize up front for butchering anybody's name. Atul Patel? Please state your name and address, please. And there is a 3-minute limitation.
My name is Atul Patel. I operate 10 convenience stores in Roanoke County and Salem, Roanoke City. Mr. Chairman and Board of Supervisors, I've been in business for 30 years, and we are representing our Asian American Business Owners Association. These all are multi-store owners in Roanoke County and Roanoke City. Most are 80 to 100 convenience stores in Roanoke County. We are representing and bringing a tax revenue to the Roanoke County. At least this pandemic period, we are struggling to keep our doors open. I know it always been a cigarette, a tax on cigarette. Why not anything else? Salons, spas, clothing, food, but always cigarettes been hitting. So we request not to increase any tax at least for a year or two, or maybe 3 years, because we are struggling right now to keep our doors open. And thank you for considering our request, and thank you.
Thank you. And Kritesh Patel?
He has to leave, too, sorry.
Oh, he had to leave as well, okay. And Keshla Patel? Again, my apologies.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Penkesh Patel. I do run few gas stations in Roanoke County and Salem. I like to humble request the board to not to raise any taxes, because we recently came out from the pandemic and it was very harsh for us to survive at this moment. So at least give us a break for a year or two before you think about raising the taxes, because that will bring the less volume, less sales and less revenue to the county and for the store owners and the retailers as well. So I'd like to really request to, and oppose not to raise the taxes at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Shatel Patel?
Good afternoon. My name is Shatal Patel, and I have a business in Roanoke County. And we have been here for about 20 years now, my husband and I. We're 4782 Chippenden Drive. Well, that's my home address. Never mind. 4040 Electric Road, which is right across the street, technically. So I think my thing is, I've been through the Benton tax increase, which was in 2009. And because of that, I had to sell my business and find another occupation, which, made me go back to school, which is better for me, of course. But I think it does affect many of the communities around, and especially the store owners. There is maybe a need for the county, but I think because of the pandemic, it would be great if they can delay it, especially as to many of the employees who come even from around the surrounding areas come to our store, which is the business offices, and I don't want to raise taxes on them, And like I said, I think it's affected a lot of communities around here. And 2009 has closed many businesses in Benton also. And I don't want that to happen to Roanoke County. And I think we're bringing the business outside instead of bringing the business into the town or the county. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't even know where to start with this one. Matt Head? There you go. I wasn't even going to attempt the last thing, so you can tell me, please.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Madhav Raichura. I'm a resident of Roanoke County as well as a business owner in Franklin County. I have a store in Roanoke County as well as in Franklin County. A couple weeks ago, Franklin County did not went up on the tax, so I request you to hold my business in Roanoke County too, because my store is on the boundary of Franklin County and Roanoke County. So the thing gonna be, my Roanoke County business will get more affected if Franklin County don't go up on the tax, and the tax in the Roanoke County will go up. So I hereby request all of you to consider my application and not to go up on the tax, especially in the pandemic. And federal government went up tax $3 6 months ago. So that's already gone up so much high. Now it's very hard for us to create all these new taxes and everything for just $250,000 a year tax revenue saved by the gentleman. So if you consider my application, I really humbly request you to consider my application. Thank you very much.
Jayton Patel?
Hello, Chairman and BOD. I'm living in Salem, Virginia, and I have a few stores in Roanoke County. And I have the same request to you guys to not raise the taxes. And I already emailed you for the detail, so you should get my email as well. So I don't want to waste that much time. You should get my email. I emailed you like a couple days ago, so I probably had email too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amit Patel?
Hi, my name is Amit Patel. Good evening, guys. I'm a resident of Roanoke County since almost 2 decades and have some businesses around. I wanted to say that this is the time where we need the most help from federal and state and all the counties. So rather than going up, if we can not do it right now and wait for like at least a year or two and make that happen when we actually have some more business. All the customer comes nowadays are smart buyers. They just look at the price, they go to the county where the prices are better. So if Roanoke County goes up, they will drive 1 mile to a Franklin County. Franklin County don't have any tax. We went a couple of weeks ago, they declined it. So I have a store up there too. So businesses are going to gain, but they're going to gain to their own counties. Another point I like to raise it up is 1 out of 10 buy cigarette, but 9 out of 10 buy something else. So if they buy a burger or a fries, they will pay a meal tax, which is 4% right now we're paying. So if they are not stopping at our store in Roanoke County, they're going to pay that 4%, which could be a $6 or $7 ticket. That's 25-cent meal tax going to another county. So it's kind of, some of them would be washout. Third thing I'd like to say about is $250,000, that's a good amount, but we might have to hire 1 or 2 people to do the accounting, to keep up with the books. So again, we are not getting that much amount against all the calculation we are assuming. So I would request not to have it and at least give us like a year or 2 to extend it. Thanks.
Next, Leo?
Good afternoon. My name is Leo. I own a tobacco store in Roanoke County. So I want to pay your attention, like if you look at our sales before like July 2020 and after July 2020, when the state made the decision like to raise the tax all over the place on the state. So the sales like went down 30%. And I have evidence, if you want to, I can bring it in the future. So I'm sure if you raise the price in the county and other counties didn't do it, we're gonna lose a lot of business. And I've been like in the business since long time ago. A lot of customer coming from out of county to our county because we have a good price. But now I think people gonna start going out of county and some of them gonna quit. In this case, I have a tobacco store. 90% of my business is cigarette. So I'm sure if you do that, like 70% I'll go out of business. We have families and a lot of people like me. We have a families, we have like a mortgage to pay, we have like kids to feed, we have like a lot of stuff. If you're going out of business, so who gonna pay all these like bills? You know what I'm saying? And we have like lease terms and all that. So please just like keep it as is. And I have suggestion for you. If you wanna like raise the tax and instead of raising the tax on cigarette, just like add $500 on the license every year for all the stores. It'll be fair, you know what I'm saying? Not just a tobacco store. I see lately like the government trying like to make us go out of business so bad. I don't know why, especially cigarette. Like if I'm in charge, I'll stop alcohol. People like killing, stealing because of alcohol, not cigarette. Cigarette didn't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? So thank you, and I hope you didn't do like nothing and raise the tax.
Thank you. You want to help me out with this? Darmindia? Mindra?
Darmindra Patea.
Okay. I should have went to the teacher.
Good afternoon, and Board of Supervisors, thank you for give us opportunity to come in front of you. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Leo, also that he present very good argument in favor of people saying that tobacco is a user, but it's a tobacco user is a addiction, and they really need help. Why? Every time everyone, all government, federal, state, local, everyone try to go behind the tobacco user, I don't know. I would like to present couple of more argument and supporting all the argument made by my friends here. This world is going towards the online shopping more every day. In this pandemic, many people going towards the online shopping. To running the convenience store, we need people that come to the store. We see that less and less people come to the store every day. If this tobacco, that is also a business going down every day, people quitting, or the way the government, all the agencies going behind the tobacco user, tobacco industry is not going to be survived. But we don't want to be a victim as a store owner that let our customer go to some other places. Just like Franklin County, just say no to adding any cigarette taxes just last week. We don't want that our customer go to that county. Even I got store, sorry, my name is Dharmendra Patadia. I got a store 8201 Williamson Road in a county. We don't want that our customer go out of county for that. My other argument, one hand, you county guys, just a minute ago, you try to give a grant, a very good support to the new business. You try to bring the new business in the county and you giving them a grant. Why you guys try to punish us that we already existing in a business, we supporting the county, we collecting tax, paying you. Why you force us out of business? Gentlemen make that argument for the county that Winton already got tax, Salem already got tax, Roanoke already got tax. Consider that we in a county, we don't have that kind of density of the people that come to the store. If per mile, if you see 5 stores in the county, we don't have enough customer. We barely surviving. Please, I would like to request each and every Board of Supervisors, say no to increase any cigarette tax nowadays. Thank you all.
That's the last one that I had to speak. Madam Clerk, did you have anything?
I do not have anything else.
Okay. Ms. Whitaker? Nothing. Okay. Then I will close the public hearing. And I'll ask, I'm sorry. But we already did that. Okay, so now I'll ask, is there any questions of the board? Okay. I will now entertain a motion for item G1.
Mr. Chairman, I have received numerous phone calls and comments in opposition to the cigarette tax. And when I had those conversations with the citizens who called me, I attempted to explain how, number one, the county was searching for new sources of revenue for public safety and for education. And number two, that the tax imposed, if this were adopted, was significantly less than Roanoke City, Salem, et cetera. And so I felt that we were still in a competitive advantage if we go forward. So to that extent, Mr. Chairman, I would move the approval of ordinance G1.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Mr. North. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mrs. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Radford?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Item H is appointments. Is there any appointments that need to be given to the clerk? Hearing none, we'll move on to item I, consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine, will be enacted by one resolution in the form or forms listed below. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Is there a wish to remove any of the items?
No, sir.
Seeing none, I will make a motion to adopt the resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hooker. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mrs. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Radford?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Item J is citizens' comments and communications. Is there a motion to receive and, excuse me, item J. Is there any other comments? You have none? And I have no one signed up to speak. Item K is reports. Is there a motion to receive and file the following reports?
So move.
Mr. Radford, I will second. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mrs. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Radford?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. And then on to item L is reports and inquiries of board members. Today I begin with the gentleman from Hollins, Mr. North.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just two items of interest. Number one, I testified before the Commonwealth Transportation Board and Secretary of Transportation on May 5th. Secretary Valentine, Dr. Smoot, our chair of the CTB here in this area. I spoke to them and expressed our support and appreciation for several projects for the fiscal year 22 through 2027, 6-year improvement plan. Thanked them for 5 recommended smart scale projects located on Route 460 in Roanoke County and in the city of Salem. Smart scale funding recommended for Valley Point Parkway access as well as other smart scale projects in the 419 Ogden Road, Starkey Road area. Also thank them for the Department of Rail and Transportation's help in the Cortran service that we provide curb-to-curb transportation for residents with disabilities and seniors in Roanoke County, and also express thanks for their commitments to extend rail passenger service with an addition of another train to Roanoke and also for the additional service in the future to Christiansburg. And expressed thoughts on why we were unsuccessful in Exit 2581 Peters Creek and indicated to them that that project and the revenues are sorely needed to help with our industrial development efforts in Woodhaven Park. And lastly, among other things, mentioned McAfee's Knob and the need there for help with parking, and also commended the VDOT staff and District Engineer Ken King and his residency, as well as the DRPT staff in Richmond for all the help they've given our county staff over the last year during this smart scale iteration. And secondly, I've been following, finally, after continued study and request for a committee on school construction and modernization since 2013. Finally, one has been established by legislation. It first met April 1st in its organizational meeting, and it also will now meet again on June 3rd after it has tasked the superintendent of education at the state level to retrieve much information in detail from all of the school districts in the state of Virginia, and I will be following that along with others that are interested to see what this leads to in December with respect to a report and recommendation to the governor on school construction and modernization. And I will just say this: the time has come for this committee to do something to help all in the state of Virginia. We are always being tasked with unfunded mandates, Children's Services Act is an example, and many, many other things. And never do we ever get any money for capital projects in the state of Virginia from the Commonwealth. And it's time that that happened. Whether we get much or whether we get more than our fair share, this is a statewide issue, and everyone should be following this every day. And certainly I look forward to this discussion on this subject going forward. And lastly, I will just say this, that this decision today on imposing this tax on cigarettes is one that wasn't taken lightly. It's one that was given to us by the General Assembly, and we did not act on it in the past. It's not going to have that large of an impact on Roanoke County, but the monies that it will give to us will go to public safety, education, as well as the CSA increased costs, and it will be used wisely. And with that, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Radford.
No comment.
Okay. Mr. Mahoney.
Two items, Mr. Chairman. First of all, some of us were able to attend this past Saturday the funeral service for our previous county attorney, Ruth Ellen Cannell. As you recall, she passed away a year ago, but her husband, Paul, had, and because of COVID, had delayed the funeral service for a year. It was at Second Presbyterian. It was a beautiful ceremony, and we understood from the comments of the Reverend that Ruth Ellen designed the entire process, whether the music, the readings, the entire service. So it was a very beautiful event. Second item, wanted to report back to the board that last week, the CEDS committee, the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Committee, met again, and we whittled down our projects there's still 120 some projects on the list with all the jurisdictions, but we attempted to develop a short list of priority projects. All the members were able to list 3, so we're able to whittle things down to roughly 25. And then after a second round of review, we whittled it down to 10. And then finally, we got it down to 7 priority projects. We have 3 projects that are identified as regional initiatives and 4 site-specific projects that we hope would have a broader regional impact. The 3 regionals were initiatives to expand broadband access across the greater region, a regional career and technical education center, and finally, for regional additional flights and runway capacity at the Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport. The 4 site-specific projects: Commerce Center site development under the joint revenue sharing agreement that they have up in Allegheny, The Woodhaven Technology Park, and combined with transportation network improvements, where Roanoke County, Roanoke City, and Salem are going forward with that project. Explore project, joint efforts with Roanoke County and Bedford. And finally, a further implementation of the housing study. So we hope that maybe by winnowing down the list and we have 7 projects that maybe we can all get behind, maybe there is an opportunity for some federal funding assistance through the EDA to support some of these initiatives. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mrs. Hooker.
Just one quick reminder, actually, to some of the citizens in my district for Timberview Road, that we're having a community meeting on Thursday, May 20th at 6:30 PM. The invitations have already gone out. There's a good agenda on record, and I look forward to meeting with them. There will be people live there in person in Kessler Mill facility, and it'll also be a Zoom, so there will be an opportunity to participate in multiple ways. And so I'm looking forward to that event. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And then my comments today will kind of dovetail off of what Mr. North was saying in reference to the cigarette tax. It's nothing that any of us took lightly, but I think that through this past year, you've seen Roanoke County take a strong stand when it came to our public safety. And we're going to be meeting later today with our schools. We know there's a great need there, so those, some things we had to take into consideration in the deliberation of whether to impose the tax that we just talked about. Along that line, I am happy that the new budget will change our pay scale for our public safety folks. I've already had a conversation with Mr. O'Donnell that I would like to see dispatchers added to that next year, because as someone who served in public safety for over 25 years, those dispatchers are first ones that I have contact with on my way to whatever that scene is, and I think that we need to put some reevaluate how they're paid in our grander scale. But I've often said that no matter what we do in Roanoke County, if we don't have a safe community, we don't have anything. We don't have, regardless how well schools. And I would like for citizens of Roanoke County to remember this week as Police Week, May 9th through the 15th. We have one of our officers with us today. Thank you for your service. But I would encourage all citizens of Roanoke County to thank our officers for keeping our community safe. We are blessed, and it's the risk that they're willing to take each and every day. So with that, we will now go into work session. Well, not now. At 5:30, we will go into work session up on the 3rd floor, and the work session will be with the Board of Supervisors and the Roanoke County School Board. So now we will recess to the 3rd floor. Thank you.